Alright guys, welcome back to the Eye on the Storm Brawl Night Invitational. We hope you guys are having a great time, and if you are, please tweet at us with the hashtag BRAWLNIGHTER in all caps, of course.
Yes, it only counts if it's in all caps.
Of course, of course. It looks like we do have a draft for the next game. It will be on the Tomb of the Spider Queen Battleground. And of course, we do have Zeveron up 1-0 in this best of 3.
Yes, that was a really cool game. In case you guys are just joining us and you missed it, we had a really cool push comp happening from Berkeley, very capable laners, and when they were focused on making sure they were wherever Zeveron was not, they avoided the burst damage composition of Zeveron that really was a problem for them in team fights. But it really came down to just one moment where it seemed like Cal Berkeley didn't realize how close Zeveron was. Zeveron was able to really take them down a peg in terms of a team fight, and that led to them being able to just mash down the core with the Dragon Knight. So we will see now what Berkeley does to respond, whether we'll see a composition that's maybe a little more burst damage type, or whether they're going to try again the same type of strategy and try to do it better this time. I don't know. What do you think, Gilly?
Well, what I think is that the draft was a little bit messed up, so I think we have the new one set now.
Got it.
So, I'm thinking for one, we will not see them let Zeveron have Jaina and Kael'thas, or they will take steps to make sure there's not such a good front line to defend them. That for sure is what we'll need to see happen, especially because we are on the Tomb of the Spider Queen as well, I think, although one of the things said Garden of Terror, so I'm not even quite sure. It's all crazy, but I think it's
just,
Tomb of the Spider
you know, it's a Brawl-Nighter. It's crazy. We're getting hype. We've had lots of caffeine. You know, I forgot about my pajamas. Hold on. My pajama hat.
You're not on camera, so you can't.
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, you guys can't see me. But yeah, this is supposed to be really fun. It's supposed to be a celebration of what you guys helped us do in the Blizzard Stream Awards and of giving some of this money back to these awesome pro teams who have now started drafting.
I think we are indeed on the Garden of Terror, my friend.
Looks like it.
Interesting. But of course, Zeveron going to quickly ban out the Illidan. And then Azerich will ban as well. Berkeley going to go ahead and grab Lost Vikings here, which of course on a big battleground like this, they're really going to be looking to have a lot of passive experience gain while everyone has to leave lane to pick up those seeds.
Absolutely. That's a big pickup for Berkeley. Lost Vikings, someone that we see banned quite often because of how much experience they really can gain, especially in the early game. And Berkeley seems like if they can take an advantage in the early game, they definitely know how to use it. So Zeveron is going to be looking to make sure that they do not let that happen. Sylvanas is going to be their pick, always a very strong hero, especially when you're trying to pick up lots of small little camps like seeds.
Yes, she's going to be really great, not only in helping Zeveron be able to push, but denying Berkeley that really strong composition of Lost Vikings plus Sylvanas, where you can have one Viking in each lane and then have a really strong push with 4 heroes in one of the other lanes and taking down towers, then rotating to another lane, getting a lot of early game experience. Zeveron also is going to get your lady, Kerrigan, and I'm pretty pumped about this. Kerrigan, of course, so good at being able to jump out of bushes and vents and grab opponents, and of course on the Garden of Terror there is a night phase where vision is reduced, so it's going to be really great to have her there, but Berkeley also getting some more damage dealers, going to get Jaina here.
Yeah, and Jaina, again, is one of those very bursty type of damage dealers. So right now what we see is that actually Zeveron is not quite as focused on that burst damage. Berkeley is at least paying homage to it. They're going to add Johanna. So now they've got Lost Vikings for experience, they've got Jaina for burst damage, and they've got Johanna for tanking and sustainability. Shaping up to be a strong composition in terms of versatility. Kerrigan and Sylvanas, very specialized, very powerful heroes, so we'll see how they will be paired with Zeveron. We do have a ban incoming, though. We've already banned Illidan. What do you think we might see as a secondary ban here, Gilly?
Well, it's not going to be Melee Assassin, as we've only got Thrall left, and nobody worries about him. I mean, if they're not looking to pick up Kael'thas here, it might be considered that, just stopping Berkeley from getting the same, you know, Jaina Kael'thas. Zeveron do get 2 picks after this, though, so they definitely have the possibility of maybe they could ban a support and then pick up a support of their own. That is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to ban Brightwing, and then we'll see them grab their own support. So they're narrowing the pool that Berkeley gets to choose from in terms of supports. Berkeley, though, can do the same exact thing with tanks, and they will. They've already got Johanna. They're also going to ban Muradin. So now Zeveron has a limited pool of warriors that they can choose from, but they will go ahead and grab Uther, and there is the Kael'thas as well.
That's shaping up to be a really strong team. The Divine Shield from Uther can really benefit a damage dealer, especially, I say it all the time, but I really like the Maelstrom area of effect damage that comes from Kerrigan with the Divine Shield on top of it. Can really mess up the middle of a team fight for somebody. And then, of course, Kael'thas, we've seen how powerful he can be as a damage dealer, especially later in the game. So answering to Jaina very, very well in terms of damage dealing. Berkeley is going to grab their support. It's going to be Rhaegar. And what do you think of that, Gilly?
Well, I mean, it was either that or Malfurion, and I think they really like the possibility of his mobility. Him paired with Tassadar, too, they're really going to have good potential for vision as far as Farsight on Rhaegar, and then Tassadar, of course, is Oracle. And then they're going to have a lot of good sustainability. A lot of people actually like having Rhaegar when needing to heal up the Lost Vikings as well. Zeveron going to choose a Nubrak as their warrior of choice, and I really like their potential for CC. They've got 2 different stuns from a Nubrak, Gravity Lapse from Kael'thas, the pull into the blades from Kerrigan, and then of course Uther with his Hammer of Justice. Even if they do go Divine Shield, he still has that E, his Hammer of Justice, as stuns too. So they've got a lot of potential to grab somebody and lock them down for eternity.
Yeah, they're really a force to be reckoned with when they're all together. And that's similar to what they had going on last game, where when they're grouped up together in a team fight situation, it's just not a force that you want to reckon with. Looking at Berkeley's composition, though, I have to imagine that they may be looking again to have kind of a spread out, light on their feet type of approach, because of course, at first with Lost Vikings, they're going to want them in multiple lane soaking experience. But they also have Rhaegar, who was not, like you mentioned, the Malfurion pick. Malfurion's really great with Tranquility when you put everyone underneath his wings and he has that area of effect heal. So the fact that they don't need it and they want Rhaegar, who has a ton of mobility and is able to do a little bit more of the spot healing, some of the wards and things like that, make me wonder if they're not planning on having their team grouped up quite as much.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. They're definitely got a lot of good heroes for taking out those little seed camps very quickly. You know, if they're going to have Lost Vikings in lane, they want to just quickly go around and pick up as many seed camps as possible. And they've got Jaina, who's got great lane clear. Johanna, when you pick up that Knight Takes Pawn as well. Even Tassadar with his Psionic Storm. Sorry, my dog is getting restless. Would say Psionic Storms as well. So that's something you want to consider on this map, is being able to pick up those seed camps as fast as possible, those little ones. Of course, taking down the Garden Terrors, the big seed givers, is a whole different bear, but we'll get into that as we are about to load into the game.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this map. Again, if you're not familiar with it, the mechanic on this battleground is that you want to grab seeds. Your goal is to get at least 100 of them, because that will activate your Garden Terror in your base. It's kind of like the Dragon Knight in that it's something you become, a suit that you put on. It gives you special powers that will help you, especially with taking down structures, which is great for experience and all sorts of other things. Also, defense, lane clear, can be used in lots of different ways. In order to grab those seeds, you've got to take down little camps that are on the top and bottom, as well as a big shambler that is on the top and the bottom. There are 90 seeds at the top of the map and 90 at the bottom, so you can't be content to just take one half. You've got to make sure that you grab some from the other as well, which makes for some great contest over the seeds.
Exactly right, and this is one of the teams we'll of course be seeing contest those. It is Cal Berkeley, who is down 0-1 in this best of 3. We've got Seppi playing Rhaegar, Fan on the Lost Vikings, Panajiku on Jaina, Zero playing Johanna, and playing Tassadar will be Serendipity.
And the leader with 1-0 so far in this series is going to be Zeveron, wearing red. We've got Fury on Anub'arak, Calthon Luck on Sylvanas, Mad Timmy playing Uther, Equinox on Kerrigan, and Faye on Kael'thas.
All right, well, we are once again seeing a whole bunch of team members go into the mid. Nothing new there. We've seen that all game. But we might see Serendipity drop that Oracle as he did and scare away Equinox. The jig is up, Equinox. Might come back and try to pick something up still. Remember that even if they were to grab something like a Viking here, though, the Vikings, oh, Fan, oh, Eric, why are you so far forward? So there we go. A Viking takedown only counts as a quarter of a hero takedown. So it's not too detrimental, but every little bit does help.
Zeveron did have both lanes, both top and bottom lane, as well as mid lane covered for experience soak, earlier even than Cal Berkeley, even though they had the Lost Vikings. Excuse me.
Yes, they indeed did do that, and it looks like they're going to be content to keep the Vikings together for now. I think we will see them split up by Fan when we do get into the phase with the night phase, where they are looking to pick up seeds. They'll start to split up, go sit in lanes, and then every little passive XP boost that they can get will get them ahead, and it'll either force Zeveron to lose some experience to them or have to put people back into lanes.
Absolutely. We do see that the Vikings are actually laning against Equinox and Mad Timmy, but we may see a stun on at least one of the Vikings. They are going to run away in their cute little fashion with smoke hot at their heels. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, still content to keep them in mid all together. So maybe even looking to try to push this, but Equinox is going to come in and be able to take out Baylog. Now Eric looks to be the next target, trying to sprint away, will be able to get away there a little bit. It looks like for now both teams just content to pick up the small camps, stay in lane, not try to all leave lane to try to pick up those bigger garden terrors.
Yeah, those do leave you a little bit more vulnerable, and it's usual that we will see teams be a little more patient with taking those, making sure to want to deny each other. But it looks like Zeveron now turning their sights toward this bottom terror, and Berkeley's not really anywhere near to do anything about it, so they're just going to trade and they're going to grab their top one. If this is the case, we may see a fairly equal amount of seeds on both sides.
Yeah, it should be almost completely equal, as Sylvanas and Tacit are both trying to do what they can versus these pickups. But there's the 90 for Zeveron. Baylog gonna go down. Still only a quarter of regular heroes experience amount. But Zeveron's coming up, and this is not dying very quickly. Actually gonna burrow charge in by Fury, and that's gonna be just enough. They still plenty of seeds. Now their opponent's only getting 69, and now we will have the first Garden Terror for Zeveron.
There's nothing worse than doing all the work and then having another team come in and steal all the seeds out from under you, and that's just what Zeveron did.
Indeed, that is totally true. So frustrating, just like if you were to pick up a Merc camp and have someone come and steal that as well. We do have level 4 talents though for each team, so I want to look at what we've got so far. Very heal heavy from Rhaegar, recognizing that it's going to be pretty taxing to have all of those Vikings around taking some of the chain heals. So really focusing on those, as well as a promote once again from Tacit are looking to push things. 2 Envenomed, 1 for Sylvanas and Kerrigan on the side of Zeveron though, really looking at that burst damage, as well as there's that gathering power as well for Kael'thas.
We do have Equinox inside that Garden Terror, so Kerrigan's not going to be in this fight, but the Garden Terror certainly would be. There are 3 members of Cal Berkeley dealing with that, which means that there's plenty of room for Zeveron to do other things in other lanes. One of those is going to be to have 3 members up here in the top pushing alongside Bruisers. That's really going to split the attention of Cal Berkeley.
Yes, this is exactly what you want to do when you have Sylvanas and a Garden Terror on your side. You want to be pushing on multiple fronts. Of course, having this early of a Garden Terror means that it's not going to get a ton of work done because it is so weak. So you really just want to be passive with it, throwing out the plant pots when you can. Try not to take too much damage with it. But really, they're forcing Cal Berkeley to try to defend on 2 fronts and losing structures just slightly on both of them. Look, there goes a tower on top. Towers are down on mid as well. The Garden Terror is even moving in to try to deal some more damage on bottom with Faye.
That flower pot just really drains the health of structures so fast. You can see them going down very, very well. Equinox placing those really nicely right behind walls. Finally coming out of the Garden Terror now, but not afraid to engage in a fight. Looks like Stuffy will be in trouble and will fall. Rhaegar is out of the picture, so healing is not an option right now for Cal Berkeley. They've got to be pretty careful.
That was such an amazing push from Zeveron, taking down all of those towers. Towers might not seem like much, but they serve two purposes in taking them down. Number one, in this early game, that's giving you just enough experience to get to your heroic abilities first. And look how much further Zeveron are ahead in that regard, versus a team who's playing Lost Vikings at that. And then also, of course, it does open up the avenue to where you can pick up a fort later on with future pushes. As all three of them are exposed, that top one even taking some damage, and mid has taken some as well.
Absolutely. We're still seeing the Lost Vikings hanging out together, as you mentioned. So the experience soak advantage that you can get from them not yet becoming something that we're really seeing. And as we move later and later in the game, being in lanes and soaking up that passive experience is going to be less and less of a concern as teams are looking more for structures and kills to do that for them.
Well, speaking of looking for structures, Zeveron has decided on their place of sieging. It will be here on this bottom floor, and this is something that Berkeley does not want to engage into, instead pushing up top on their own because they haven't picked up their heroic abilities quite yet. And heroic abilities, what did we see Zeveron pick up, Anna?
Let's find out. It looks like we will see Locust Swarm from Anubarak, Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas, Divine Shield from Uther with the Maelstrom from Kerrigan, a favorite of mine, and Phoenix from Kael'thas, which can be up very frequently, and we've seen them use that for some great zoning.
Yes, for sure, and damage with that on top of Maelstrom as well. Now we do have heroics for Berkeley as well with Ancestral Healing, the Archon, Blessed Shield, and it looks like the other two are still considering, but maybe it was just that they're trying to get out safely, as they only need one more seed to be able to pick up their own Garden Terror, and got pushed away from that top Terror. But Suppy on bottom still here, and it looks like they will end up getting play again for the Vikings.
Really?
And Summon Water Elemental. This is the first time I've ever cast a game with play again.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly seen some unique Lost Vikings play. Maybe Fan has something up his sleeve that we don't know about. And, I mean, I was actually going to quip that, yeah, they haven't chosen it, but we know the Vikings will be in a boat. And I was wrong.
No singing today, my friend. But what I do want to notice is that the minute they picked up play again, they're spread out now. They are completely spread out in lanes. And now we're going to have a Garden Terror pushing on both sides.
How very, very interesting. Fan always providing really quality play for us to watch, and will be inside that Garden Terror as one of the Vikings. It's a really great advantage because you only take one of the three parts of that hero's body in order to do that, instead of taking an entire hero out of the fight, making great use of it down here in the bottom lane.
Did you see how much damage they put onto those towers? They melted. Jaina, of course, can provide her chill effect, which makes structures or heroes take more damage from the rest of her abilities, so they just melted those. But Fan similarly getting melted on that Garden Terror as a great defense here from Zeveron. Will not save their fort, but took out that Garden Terror so incredibly fast. But their own Terror still pushing and very, very healthy on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for the Vikings to be in lane, but they're certainly not able to single-handedly defend against the Garden Terror. So the Garden Terror on behalf of Zeveron has gone completely unchecked in the top lane, and it's now about to take down the turrets and wall here in the inner area of the base, and this keep is even in danger.
Yeah, it is just punching the keep with its plant hands. And now similarly, what do we see with Zeveron doing? Well, they're gonna focus on another lane, and with Sylvanas, we're seeing those structures melt just as quickly as we did on the bottom for Berkeley. So now they've taken out towers. Looks like Equinox trying to move through the base. Will be able to do so with a good sprint there from Kerrigan. And now they're going to start sieging up this top with a great Phoenix there to zone.
Absolutely. Wow, just a multi-pronged attack from Zeveron even when they were defending. Doing both of those things at the same time means that right now they're in a great position. Both teams on the same talent tier, so not necessarily afraid of engaging, but certainly a lot of pressure coming out of Zeveron, and I think we can see Berkeley kind of trying to take stock of what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had a plan in place with those Plague and Vikings, always making sure that they would be in lane soaking, but soaking is not everything. They are starting to take some towers. We saw a tower in mid to go down, and that's helping them out a bit, but their opponent's about to hit those 16 talents, those so important 16 talents, and they've got a long way to go.
Absolutely, especially with Kael'thas, we mentioned that quite a bit. It looks like we'll have Johanna very far forward, but staying very, very healthy. And actually, the health bars of Zeveron melting fairly quickly. It looks like the Phoenix was not able to take anyone down. We do have the Maelstrom, but it will not last long as Kerrigan does die as well. Zeveron turning the tides, though. Zero is staying very low, does pull with a Condemn, but runs away in the meantime. Only Suppy and Zero and some Vikings are out on the map. They're all together in the top lane, so they're doing some things. But will it be enough things, Gilly?
Well, that was kind of cool, right? So they had the play again, and they quickly just regrouped and then went and pushed an area, a lane where Zeveron wasn't really paying attention because they were still in mid. So kind of seeing their strategy, and because they did trade pretty evenly there, an even trade when you're behind in level actually goes toward the team who's behind in level, because your respawn timers are shorter, you get more experience, so they've at least got that for them. But they are still not 16, which means that they've got to be a little bit more careful when trying to pick up seeds. And it shows they've only got 17 here, while their opponents already have a Terror growing. And they have the possibility of maybe even stealing this bottom Terror, and that's what they're going to do.
Wow, yeah, it looks like they will look for that. We've seen an overwhelming number of Terrors for Zeveron as opposed to the number of Terrors for Cal Berkeley, Gilly.
Yes, we definitely have, although it's always funny to see one of the Vikings in the Terror while the rest of them are pushing. But look at level 16, a lot of damage for, what are we talking about?
Oh, I thought we were going to see Cal Berkeley repay in kind by coming in and trying to steal the seeds out from under Zeveron, but they changed their mind. They backed off. I'm so sad.
Well, this keep already is very, very low, so they wanted to come back and defend here, and this is really great for Zeveron because they can kind of just distract with this Terra, because if they get enough seeds, they might even be able to get another one. But man, that got burned so fast. Equinox just trying to take out the keep at this point, dealing so much damage, but getting envenomed and taken out. A great shield, keeping that keep just barely alive. And now it's a 5v4 situation. Zeveron are working really hard on the second Garden Terror. They might be able to take it down. They will be able to do so, and they're going to get a second Garden Terror. That's going to be so frustrating as Berkeley just a tidbit too late here.
Wow, 2 opportunities to steal back their seeds. They did not manage to do it. They're looking for other opportunities here. There are mercenaries waiting to be taken. Both teams dancing around on either side of them. We do have the Vikings spread out again in lanes, so soaking up experience. But as you mentioned, lanes, especially at this point in the game, are not going to be everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's very true indeed, although there's a pretty good push here on top from Berkeley that's going to distract Zeveron at least momentarily. I did want to point out the talent choices for Zeveron at 16 are just insane. 3 Blood for Bloods and Ignite, so much damage, and that really shows as poor Jaina took so much damage. Their Living Bomb will be able to take her down. Johanna even is gone as well, and now we're once again seeing Cal Berkeley on the retreat.
Berkeley prioritizing those mercenaries and really actually staying out there on the unsafe side of the map looking for those. I think because their strategy involves, again, being able to take advantages on the battleground and not necessarily group up for team fights. But unfortunately, they weren't able to really capitalize on what space they had, and now they've got a Garden Terror pushing again here in mid. They've got all 5 members of Zeveron paying very close attention, and they're going to have to group up for an engagement here, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and this is so rough because in that engagement, they are not level 20, and Zeveron definitely are. They've got 3 Bolts of the Storm to make sure they're set up for the correct positioning. They've got a Garden Terror punching the core with its plant fist, throwing out the potted plants as well. And it does look like Berkeley wants this one last stand. They know that they've got to defend their core here. They're going to push them back so that they are not, their core isn't also taking damage. Equinox in that Garden Terror, the Terror is about to go down and will do so, but Fan takes so much damage thanks to that Flame Strike, and 2 Vikings already are down.
Suppy gonna have to Ancestral heal himself so he can continue to heal the rest of the team. It does get a nice surround, but still no one down from Zeveron. Mad Timmy is getting very low. They are gonna manage to take out that healer. Uther will be now in ghost form. So there is a little bit of a chase going on from Cal Berkeley, but no no more Zeverons to take down. Instead, they're going to look for mercenaries. Mercenaries are going to help them put some pressure back in lanes, help them defend a little bit, because when we look at their core, you can see there's bruisers, there's catapults, there's all sorts of mess that they really want help dealing with.
Man, and that Uther did not, in fact, take redemptions, and once again, we have a Storm Shield on him, which means he will be down for 50-ish seconds. So it's a lot of time for them, for Cal Berkeley, that is, to make some plays happen, and they're going to choose to really try to push some lanes back. They realize that they've got catapults now pushing in every single lane. They have no keeps remaining, and this is a straight shot to their core, especially with lanes pushed as well. So that's what they got to do. They got to push the lanes back. They got to make it so it's not quite so easy for Zeveron just to walk up to their core, and they've got to get level 20 as well.
They've got to do everything. I mean, there's nothing they can let drop right now. They have to do everything perfect in order to keep this game from ending. But it's not over till the core falls, as we like to say in Heroes. So although there are 5 forts still left on behalf of Zeveron, Berkeley, if they can manage to, like you said, defend, level, push lanes, and be aggressive against their opponents in lanes, still has a chance. Unfortunately for them, though, Zeveron is going to grab this top Garden Terror, going to pick up all those seeds, and is again going to be able to put someone in the Garden Terror suit and wreak havoc upon the map that way.
Yeah, I mean, you only need one keep down to be able to attack the core, but they still need that keep. And now Zeveron is coming in. They would like to try to pick up a takedown here, as they do have a possible Garden Terror, but their opponents have one too. And so far, they're really only taking out some Vikings. And they've got that play again, so it's not the end of the world. They're up very quickly. Now Fan is going to drop Olaf into that Garden Terror. Meanwhile, it looks like Equinox will once again take it on the side of Zeveron, and we'll have another Terror versus Terror fight on our hands.
Both teams now pass level 20, so in terms of talent tiers, we won't see an advantage one over the other anymore in this game. And that's got to be a relief for Cal Berkeley, as they have been traditionally on the back foot in terms of team engagements. We now see Equinox being surrounded by the entirety of Cal Berkeley, as well as Fan in the Garden Terror. But what that means is that the bottom is completely undefended, and Zeveron is running in toward the core. Cal Berkeley has to run back to defend.
Okay, well, it's at 77%, but they've got a lot of shields to go through, including the one that Tassadar makes. Hothamlook getting melted, but does not go down, getting the Divine Shield, now moving to the other side of the core. That was so huge that they were able to keep him up as well, and now Sylvanas will go down this time, as will Kael'thas. So much damage being hit on the core, and it will be enough. Zeveron will take game 2.
Oof. A valiant effort from Cal Berkeley, some interesting Lost Vikings play, maybe some experiments, and I mean, definitely with the play again pick, something that we don't traditionally see. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for Cal Berkeley, as they weren't able to take this game. That's going to be 2-0 in the series for Zeveron.
Yes, indeed, and we will know our 2 teams moving to the money match as well, Anna.
Both Zeveron and Cognitive are going to be guaranteed at least $200 in prize money, but they are going to be duking it out for that first prize, which is $500. That $700, of course, coming from you guys. Thank you for voting for us in the Blizzard Stream Awards back a few months ago. We really appreciate that, and we're handing it off to the teams in your honor. So I'm really excited to see who it's going to be. Any final thoughts on that series, Gilly?
No, I really liked seeing the play again from the Lost Vikings, and especially actually taking the level 20 play again talent as well. Pretty interesting there. It was really cool to see one of the dorm teams go up against one of our premier teams as well, Zeveron. So thank you so much to them as well. But it will be Zeveron moving on, and we're going to take a short break when we set up the next game. I have got to take out this dog, really, but I will do so very, very fast. I will run just so we get to games faster.
All right, and guys, don't forget there's lots and lots of giveaways going, so please be sure to be nice to our admins who are providing you all sorts of fun prizes in chat. You can use that to keep you occupied while we set up this final match.
Exactly right. Enjoy that, grab some popcorn, and when we get back, the finals match. See you guys soon.